We have recordings in progress. Can we have somebody approve the minutes for the September 8th, 2021 Real Estate Appraisal Commission meeting?
I'll approve.
Any second?
Second.
Okay.
I did. It's not working. Hold on.
All right, you got that, Terry? So we're gonna go, I'm gonna come back to the comments and concerns at the end. ASC, anything there?
No, we're still working on our response to them. It should be ready hopefully in the next week or so, that, and it will go back to Jenny after, we met with you guys last meeting and discussed her report. So other than that, I don't have any other comments.
All right, thank you.
John, just so you know, you have to call the vote. You never called the vote.
Oh, you're right.
We're
You have to
rolling.
call the vote for the minutes.
We're rolling. All right, all in favor for accept the minutes as written?
Aye.
I'll abstain. I wasn't there, so
Aye.
I don't know.
All opposed?
It's abstain.
All right, here we go. We good, Linda?
Yeah.
All right. New business. We're gonna go down it. So we got Ellie Pascone seeking equivalent education for AI annual conference. Day 1, 5 hours. Day 2, 5 hours.
Mm-hmm. You guys were sent all the paperwork on it.
Yep.
There was a mix-up with the Appraisal Institute once again, and they didn't get their course in for you guys to look at it and approve it. So we told Ellie that he had to submit the paperwork for you guys to approve it as a equivalent education. So he submitted everything.
All right, anybody look that over?
I did.
Any
I did.
concerns, Linda?
No,
Norris?
I'm fine.
I had no issues. Shauna?
No, I'm good.
All right, somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
aye.
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 All opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. Ellie Croston seeking equivalent education for CCMA 4 revaluation, 18 hours.
Okay, so this class, we only give 10. So I will make a motion to grant 10 hours.
Anybody second it?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, Rachel Gottmeier seeking equivalent education for AA comprehensive review of appraisal concepts, 18 hours. Anybody?
Motion to approve.
Do we give 18 hours for that, Linda?
Yeah.
I don't know if we've ever seen it before. I think we may have seen it, but this is a review course, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion to approve the 18.
Any second?
Second it. I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Richard Simon seeking equivalent education for CCMAI 2B application evaluation techniques, 18 hours.
Okay, so this class, we do usually give 18 hours, but he did not take the class. He was the instructor. So
Oh, that's okay. You can get
Then
credit.
he can
for-
get 14 hours. He can do 14 hours as an instructor. That was a good catch, Sean. I didn't see that.
So yeah, I didn't know if it was supposed to be half or if there was a limit.
Yeah, 14 hours.
All right, so then I'll make a motion to approve 14 hours.
Any second?
I'll second it.
All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Oh, the ayes have it again.
Gently, I sat through that class.
Oh.
Any update regarding the acting chairperson Rasmussen's request to fill vacancies on the commission?
I know Jerry did write a letter and send it to our commissioner and deputy commissioners requesting their help in talking to the governor's office regarding adding more commission members.
Do we know what the holdup is? Is it just at the governor's office or?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, I know people have, we're not really sure what the holdup. I know people have asked about, over the last like 5 years, asked about becoming a member of the commission. We give them the info, telling them they have to go to the through the governor's office. And
So
that's
this
all
is
we
the,
hear. We don't hear anything back.
correct. This is the update that I got once Jerry had forwarded, Commissioner Rasmussen had forwarded me the information requesting the vacancies to be filled for our commission. I then sent it to the commissioner, Michelle Siegel, who said that her office will be taking it over from here and alerting the governor's office to our vacancies that are needed to be filled. I just wanted to update you with that.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Can we make that part of our minutes?
Definitely, definitely.
I think that they're supposed to actually appoint the chairperson as well. You would think they could appoint Jerry, so he wouldn't be the acting chairperson.
For the last 4 years.
Yeah,
I know, but we're just getting around to pointing that out to them officially, so, and there's been some change. And I also reach out to each one of you, if you know of anybody that you think would be a good fit, obviously encourage them to start the process.
I've heard from a lot of my colleagues, and Jerry actually did that presentation. He announced to everybody in my group if anybody was interested. Because I guess I didn't hear Linda is retiring again. So congratulations on your second retirement, Linda.
Thanks. There was a gap in between though, so.
Little does Linda know, she has to go a third time.
I don't think so. I think there might be a lot of balking by my family.
Okay, so I'm going to jump down to the courses before we get to old business. Is there anything else under any new business? Anything you want to bring up? Linda, was there something you needed to
No,
add?
I just need to do something under old business.
Okay,
Hi, love you. Come here, Sadie. Sadie, come. Sadie.
Linda, you want to mute yourself if you're,
Oh, sorry.
I assume you're talking to your calculator or something like that. Okay. So schools and courses. Can we go over schools and courses?
Sure.
Does anybody have any issues with any courses? Linda, did you look over the courses? Linda, you're still on mute. Terry, you got it?
I just asked you to unmute, so you should have a button that pops up.
Got it. Linda, did you get the emails that I sent you?
Yeah, I answered you. I answered you yesterday.
Oh, you did? I didn't
Yeah,
see
because
that.
you answered
Okay.
me. So
Oh, okay. I didn't see that. Let me see if I can find those. That
okay, while
email.
she's looking at that, I just wanted to let the commission know the schools had renewals due September 30th for their schools, and there was 4 schools, which one of them was kind of a shock, that decided not to renew their registration, so they can no longer offer courses for appraisals. And it was Appraisal, the Connecticut Real Estate Academy, Midbaton, which was on course learning, and the Dares Institute, which is the one that I was surprised had decided not to offer appraisal courses anymore.
That was Dares.
Dares, yeah. Yeah, I had gotten, because I still get their stuff to my personal email, and I had gotten a email from them saying they had decided not to renew. And then I, reached out to them and, let them know that, they have courses still active, but as of October 1st, they can't, anyone who's taken them, who's also an appraiser and a salesperson or broker, cannot get credit for both of them. So they are aware. So,
They've been notified too?
yep, they've all been notified. They all got second notices from me about it, and they all replied that they weren't going to renew. So I let them all know that, I made all their courses inactive.
Okay, can we include this discussion in our minutes so that, appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, so as far as schools and courses go, Linda, on the first, this course is approved by the department, all of, any issues?
There was, Linda, one of the things that is kind of bothering me is that what comes in for the student, for the instructors or whoever's the school that's sending it in, it's not consistent. You know, sometimes, like one of these, I can't remember which one it was right now, and my printer's not working, so I couldn't print anything out. One of these courses had just like one page of what it's about and the time thing, but it never clarified whether there was a PowerPoint involved or if this was just a, you know, an interaction with the students, or, so we don't really know completely what's going on.
Okay, I mean, you know, you can always, I send you whatever they send me, so.
Right, exactly.
And you
But
know,
I
we
think that
we
we
don't
need to set-
require them to have a PowerPoint. It's not a requirement in the.
Right, it's
regs.
not. But it's very difficult to figure out what they're teaching if you don't see the PowerPoint.
Right, but they, you know, they may not have one, they may not be
Right.
offering
that
one,
should be-
so,
But that should be declared in their information that they send us, that this is a discussion thing and there's no PowerPoint. I mean, I've done that a lot when I'm teaching. We're sitting around doing a discussion, a PowerPoint's not needed, but it's not clarified. It's like we get bits and pieces of things. We don't get, like we used to
mean, you
have a
could-
list. And
right.
you had to send in everything on that list. That's been missing in the past couple of years. And we've kind of let it go if it made sense, or we knew the instructor or the school well, or something like that. But a lot of this stuff was, you know, missing things. And like that one that we had, one page was totally blank.
Yeah, it looked like it was blank by purpose.
Oh, why? To me, it looked like something happened. That's
Right,
why I questioned it.
but you can always, I mean, if you don't feel like you have enough information, you know, you can always reach out to the school to get more. And if there's any of these that, you know, you need more info on, I mean, we don't have to approve them. We
Yeah.
can table it to next meeting.
Yeah.
You know, and you can either let me know or let the school know. You could contact the school directly if it's easier.
Okay. Well, why don't we just take the classes one by one then?
Okay,
All right, so AAL 837, live webinar, diversity for your practice with assessment appeals. Somebody want to make a motion?
oh, those are the ones that have the AQB approval that that
We
the
only need to,
department's already approved.
We don't need to go through these.
No,
No,
just
not
the
those,
ones
just
courses. Yeah, number 2.
AAL 831. 2021 ASF, whatever, annual convention, day 1, American Society for Farm Managers and Rural Appraisers, 6 hours of continuing ed.
I think that's what we've done before. They have information there that, you know, about their class. So, and I think
I
we've
didn't-
used that before and we've given them credit.
I don't have a problem with that one.
Okay.
AAL 832, identifying and valuing excess and surplus land, Massachusetts, 4 hours. I don't have a problem with that one.
Mm-mm. That
Uh,
one's,
Quantitative analysis concepts for appraisers. I don't have a problem with that one either.
okay.
The art and science of comparative analysis,
What was it again?
the art and science of comparative analysis. I don't have a problem with
Did you
that.
send me that one, Lynn?
Yeah,
Oh, the title doesn't sound familiar and I can't get it up on my screen. To tell you the truth, with the classes that we had, I didn't have any real issues. Whoops. Oh, okay, thank you. So let's see, what was the number that we're on?
AAL,
834.
34, okay.
I don't have any problem with that. Anybody else?
No.
AAL 835, non-stabilized distressed properties valuation issues. I looked this over, I actually thought I was taking. Anybody have any issues?
No,
Okay. So somebody want to make, go ahead, Linda,
I'll make a motion to
accept the course.
approve them all.
Anybody second it?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? The ayes win again. Okay. So let's jump to old business.
Okay, on old business, we need to add one thing to old business.
Okay,
We need to add Charles Brody, or Brode. He's an RSP looking for an extension. Totally my fault. I thought he was on the agenda. I missed it. This is, so, well, you
all
know.
right. Somebody want to make a motion to add Charles Grody, G-R-O?
BRODE.
I'll make the motion to add Charles Rhodey.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes. No, anybody opposed? All right, let's just go down the list then. Joseph Nardini, RCG applicant upgrading from RCR sample review. See here?
Yeah, he's on.
Yes, he is. Mr. Nardini, you have been unmuted. You can speak. Hello, Mr. Nardini. We have you unmuted and we have you on the meeting. If you're still there, could you please reply? Would it be possible for us to come back to Mr. Nardini since it seems he may have stepped away?
Hello, I'm
Oh,
here.
there you are. Okay. Okay,
By the
Mr.
way,
Nardini.
in the interest of full disclosure, I want to let you know that since the beginning of this meeting, I've heard the entire conversation. I know there was something that Commissioner Galvin wanted to make sure was muted, but it was not.
Okay. Joseph, can you have a camera for your
I thought it was on, Commissioner. I don't know why it's not. I can see you.
but we can't see you. Okay, you don't, Terry Jo, can you help him with that?
Will do. Mr. Nardini, you should have a button that comes up on your end now. If you click that button, it should allow you video access
Say
from your
again,
camera.
where's the button? I'm sorry.
There's a button that should come up on your screen at this time. It's going to ask you to be promoted to a panelist. There you are. You have been promoted to a panelist. I'm asking you to start your video, so all you have to do is click the button I just sent you.
Yeah, they've changed it because
Mr. Nardini, are you seeing
Yes.
that button by any
I see.
chance?
I do not see that.
Okay.
Gary Joe, I think he has to hover over the bottom of his screen for that to pop up. If he brings his mouse down to the bottom of the screen,
Where it's,
he'll see the mute button and then he'll see the video next to it.
Mr.
Mute button.
Nardini.
Yeah, I got it. I got it. It's not let, I click on it, but it's not letting me get in.
it just went off, Mr. Nardini. If you just click on it again and just, yep, I see where you're clicking on it and the camera is going on. There. Okay. I've sent through the request to ask you again. It's right beside your mute button, Mr. Nardini.
He might be double clicking it maybe, and that would be going on and off.
Do you see the mute and the stop video button?
I do, and I've clicked on it, but the red line is still through it.
Well, there's unfortunately nothing else I can do from this end. I've sent through requests and you've been promoted to a panelist and I've sent through requests to start the video, but unfortunately, it doesn't seem like you're able to do so.
All right, so let's, Joseph, you were gonna have your mentor there, sponsor. Is he there with you? I know he I believe he had, am I correct? Were you the one who had, the gentleman had the COVID? Charlie? had
Yes,
COVID?
sir.
Also, just one more thing. I have Attorney Bullock beside me. She's asking if you can please acknowledge yourself for the record and just make it official that you are Mr. Nardini. And then we can proceed from there. So Mr. Nardini, if you can state your name and your address, we can, the chairperson can proceed you and enter you into the record from there. Thank you.
Yes, this is Joseph Nardini. My address is 9 Northford Road, Branford, Connecticut. My sponsor is also here, Mr. Liberty.
Is he with you?
Yes,
Can he state his name? Same thing for the record too?
Charles Liberty, Blue Ribbon Appraisals LLC, 375 Morgan Lane, West Haven, Connecticut.
All right. How are you feeling, by the way? Feeling okay?
Oh, it was, we had my wife and I both had it. We had our shots. And so it was relatively mild, maybe not as bad as the flu I had in my past history.
Okay.
So we were very lucky by having our vaccinations, and we did not go to the hospital, and we are all recovered. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. So I'm going to go jump right in. I looked at the appraisal of 158-200 Main Street. And as you might not have heard, I don't know. But as I am currently acting chair for today's meeting only, and I can't vote on anything. And I am the only panelist on here who really is a commercial appraiser. So I'm going to go over a couple of things, but I'm going to be honest. I think I'd rather have Commissioner Rasmussen here also, so that he could review your work also and discuss it too before we actually vote on anything. So I'm just going to make a couple of comments. If you want to respond, you can respond, obviously, and then and then we'll take it from there. I am a little concerned with this appraisal in terms of, I'm not going to be, I'm just focusing on methodology and the communication. And as far as you know, by now, you should know that we, in USPAP, we have standards that address the appraisal process, and then we have standards that address the communicating of that appraisal process. And in terms of communicating that appraisal process, I have concerns that of the writing of it. And I'm assuming that in this particular appraisal, Mr. Nardini, that you did most of the work. Is that correct?
I did a big volume of that work, yes.
Did you do the writing of the report itself?
I believe that I did.
Okay. So if you go to page 2 in the transmittal letter.
Excuse me, I missed which one we're doing. Is this 158 Main Street?
158 and 200 Main Street, Ansonia, yes.
Yep, okay.
All right. Just if you go down to the fourth paragraph, if you just read that first 3 sentences, both sites are currently improved with commercial brick masonry buildings and were built in 1988 for 158 Main Street, which is a 3-story commercial building with a walkout basement previously used for office space on the lower level. 200 Main Street, which is a 3-story commercial building previously used for office space and was built in 1920. It's just a lot of grammar. There's grammar issues there. It's just not tight. It's very confusing. Punctuation.
Did you say, excuse me, did you say there's grammar issues?
Well, it just doesn't read clearly, and I'm just picking this particular thing out. And so all I want to do is just point out that our job is to communicate our analysis in a clear manner to our reader. And in this particular, this couple of sentences, and there's several throughout, that they're just very loose sentences. They're not tight. Now, I'm only making my comments as a experienced commercial real estate appraiser. I'm not an English major, but that is just, I'm having a hard time. There's a lot of run-on sentences and a lot of stuff. It just isn't really concise. Now, I understand what you're saying as an experienced appraiser. I understand you're trying to get those facts across, and I got it. So I'm just pointing this out to you. That just is something I think you need to work on going forward, is trying to be clearer and more concise in communicating your analysis. You on page 4, which is your of your transmittal letter, where you sign the report, sign the front page. If you look at the top, it says, in valuing the property, all 3 approaches to value have been considered. So the way I read that is you're considered the cost approach, but there's really no really good explanation in the report explaining why you didn't do a cost approach in here, particularly when you have a renovation of a building that you're doing. All right. So I would expect to have seen something like that. You know, again, this goes back to the communicating of the report. If you go to on your certificate of appraiser, if you go to page 14 and page 15 in your reports, those 2 pages. So you talk about that it's a prospective value, okay? And then you have on the next page on 15, you have effective date of the appraisal and exposure time, okay? So you talk about the effective date of the appraisal is August 6, 2020. Subject property was most recently inspected on August 6, 2021. Okay, so you give me the effective date of the report now, but you don't really talk. You only mention really one place where you talk about that it's prospective and it's going to take a year to complete. There's no a date tied to that prospective value. And you know, I would also expect to see an as-is value, but I'm going to assume that your scope of work didn't request an as-is value. But I normally would expect an as-is value, especially when you're doing your highest and best use, to determine if it's actually feasible or not. If not, I would expect to see some sort of hypothetical condition or extraordinary assumptions, because you're jumping to that conclusion that it is feasible. If you go to, and I'm just going to cruise through these things because we got other people too. On your zoning section and on your tax section, if you go to your tax section on page 20, you give the taxes for the property and you list out the 100% and the 70%, et cetera, et cetera. No issues there. But if you jump to your income approach, you give your expenses on the property. And for instance, on page 57, you have your net operating income statement and you have taxes down at $123,000. Yet there's no explanation in the assessment or any point of how you actually got to that 123,000, how you concluded when the current taxes are only 29,000 for one building, 25,000 for the other, and yet you jump to a conclusion of 123,000. I would expect to see some sort of explanation. On the zoning section, you just state the zoning, very simple, and then you have a sentence here. It is noted that the site is conforming and the current use is a permitted use. I would assume that if the building was getting this much renovation, that there would have been some sort of consideration to zoning. And if it was something that didn't have to go to rezoning, again, I would expect to see something in there explaining that, you know, it did just a little more to the reader. I understand that this might be getting a little picky on zoning. I find this very simple. But again, our job is to establish credibility, and our job here as commissioners are to protect the consumer. So this is one of the reasons why we are actually going through these reports right now, is so that the consumer is protected and that a proper appraisal is communicated to the reader. On page 26 and 27, you give the 2 site descriptions. You know, you touched everything was there. I don't see anything on excess land or surplus land. I don't see anything really on parking. You mentioned there's no parking, and you know, there's nothing in the neighborhood description or anything telling me where these people are going to park and if that's an issue in the neighborhood and if that's going to impact the value of this property. Now, if it was a restricted use report, I understand that the reader would understand that, but this is a complete appraisal. It's, in narrative format, you would expect some sort of comment on that if that's an issue within that market. I understand, in Sony, everything's tight and everything, but, most stuff that's being built and renovate now is including parking. I know this is right across from the train station, so I picked up on that as somebody who's experienced in that market. I'm just pointing these things out to you going forward to be more communicative. I
thought in the report, I indicated that the public parking was directly across the street from the subject properties. And that was probably going to be the parking that was going to be used. And I actually had photos of the parking lot.
If there's no explanation that it can be used, is it 24-hour parking? Is it something they have to get a special permit for? Is that something that impacts the rent value of your units versus the buildings 2 down the road, or any of your comps that are listed? Don't mention about parking. If they have parking and they don't, if a renter has to pay $300 a month for parking across the street, and they can go down and $1,000 a month for rent, that's a total of 13. If they can go down the street and rent a unit for $1,000 a month that includes parking, they're going to go down the street first. So those are discussions that I would expect to see in the report. Just a couple of sentences, all you have to do to clear that up. Your costs, you don't really mention your cost of the renovation or anything in your building description, or any real detail of what to do. They're just kind of summarizing. You're kind of leaving the reader to guess what actually has to be done. And when you get to your income approach, is the first time you really start talking about your costs, yet there's no real detail on exactly what it is, or any kind of analysis of whether the costs are reasonable or not. You just make the blank statement that they are reasonable. In USPAP, if we're stating something in a restricted use report, we're allowed to do that. If you state that it's reasonable, that's stating something. But on a complete appraisal, we're required to analyze that and go into a little more detail and explain and support if something is reasonable or not. I want to point out that your definitions, you might want to go review those and update those. You refer to the highest and best use as referenced in the 2nd edition of the Dictionary of Real Estate Appraisals. We've had several editions subsequent to those over the years, and some of these definitions have definitely changed. And then when you get to your highest and best use, you just state, again, you're stating, in a restricted use format, we can state, but in a complete appraisal, we actually have to explain. There's nothing in here, especially in a project like this. There's nothing stating what the as-is value versus the upon completion value you state, but nothing really determining if it's actually feasible or not. I have no idea if this is actually feasible. If the as-is value is $1 and they're putting the $2 million, like you say, and the value of $4 million at the end is what it is, well, then it's feasible. But there's nothing indicating what the as-is value is to conclude if this is actually a feasible project development or not. And I would expect that if that was part of your scope of work, which it doesn't state, that I would have seen a comment in there saying, either a hypothetical condition or extraordinary assumption or something alluding to that what the as-is value was, or you're making an assumption that it is feasible because you didn't do that part of the analysis as part of the scope of work. On the sales and the sales comparison approach, you gave a little more detailed. I'm not going to pick you on this at all. I just, in the future, you might want to consider just being a little more detailed in that, so that I find that appraisers who actually write out more of an explanation on the commercial side, more of an explanation of those adjustments, it helps them understand the property, the comps in relation to the subject more, but it also helps them understand what's going on in the market in terms of location adjustments, size adjustments, those kind of things. It just keeps us more in tune when we're actually focusing on them, as opposed to making short, simple statements. On the rents, there's nothing in here indicating that you actually made any phone calls to confirm any rents or got the actual expense terms. It looks like you just went to the MLS. And one of the things what happens is when we're just reporting listings we're not, there's nothing in here indicating when the commencement date was, if they're actual listings or actual leases, to determine if, if we just focus on listings, as you know, we're hedging the market as opposed to focusing on what's actually taking place. And then there's no explanation on your expenses. You just summarize the expenses. Again, in a restricted use report, we can do that. We can say the taxes, insurance, and common area maintenance is estimated to be $2.75 a square foot. I'm on page 55. We can state that, but in a complete appraisal, we need to explain that. We need to be a little bit more communicative to the appraiser. On your lump sum deductions, I'm going to go into a couple of things real quick. There's a couple of mistakes in your band of investments. You come up with, you did two analysis there, came up with both cap rates are in the 6, yet you conclude 7 on page 60. There's no explanation of why you go from one to the other. And then on your, I like your reserves. I like how you did the reserves. I think that was very good, and I wish everybody did that. Sometimes I know it gets us in trouble, but I like the way you thought that through. And that was on page 58. And I also like the fact that you did the debt service coverage ratio analysis on a second thing. But again, back to your expenses on page 57. You use interior and exterior maintenance, and you make a comment that the cost of taxes, it just states taxes of 123. On the previous page, it mentioned on the taxes that 123 included other items. So there's really some miscommunication there in breaking that out. On your rent loss, I understand why you made a rent loss, but I'm a little concerned that you're saying in the report, you mentioned it's going to take a year to complete the project, yet you only take 50% of the rent loss. So basically the project has to be completed in 6 months in order to lease it up. They're not going to give certificate of occupancies, in 6 months unless it's complete, yet you're saying a 1-year completion date, and there's no analysis in tying those together. You also take leasing commissions just 5% of the rent loss, as opposed to most commercial leases are usually 5% over a 3 to 5 year term. And often we don't see commissions paid on apartment rentals in an active market when you're projecting the thing going to be leased up in 6 months. And then I'm a little confused on why you took entrepreneur profit off the top because that would have been built in to your overall cap rate and built into the market with the value conclusion. So all those things, what I'm going to suggest is Jerry's not here. I made all those comments to you. I hope you took some notes. I know I took fast. You're welcome to call me again, but I think you need to go back and take this report. And I know you've already submitted it to the client, and that's fine, but I think you need to take this report for me to be acceptable with it and expand it and be more communicative and explain a few things and tighten it up. So that's where I'm at. You have any questions for me? Is he there?
Yes, he is. Mr. Nardini, you're unmuted. You can speak whenever you want.
Can you hear me now?
I can. You have a pretty bad echo. Do you have a second speaker, a second audio system going in the room? Sorry about that, everyone. Mr. Nardini, if you can just mute the second audio system. It's difficult for the rest of us to hear when both audio systems are going together. And I'll ask you to unmute at this time if your sound.
I have unmuted the second system.
Thank you.
Obviously, we're having some video and audio problems with this today. I don't understand why I've used it before, but it's just not working properly today. I'm on a headset, and Mr. Liberty would like to ask Mr. Galvin a couple of questions. Is that okay?
Sure, go ahead.
Mr. Galvin, this is Charlie Liberty.
Hi, Charlie.
Hi. Thank you. I took copious notes here. and I appreciate the effort here. This is definitely going to clarify. We'll have all this done for the next meeting you have. That's what I need.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I don't have a problem with, I know I know Mr. Laverty's been appraising for a long time, so I understand he understands the appraisal concepts. I have an issue in communicating it. And as a commissioner, I have to understand that you understand value. And the way I understand that is by reading these reports. And so I'm having an issue in the reports themselves. So the reports need to be expanded to explain some of those things and anything else that you think after you go through that, do you think really should be expanded? I think you should, that's what I'd like to see you do. So if we had a vote today, and I can't vote because I'm a chairman, but I think you get an idea where I'd fall today.
Well, I thank you. This is Charlie Liberty again. I thank you. This will definitely be an excellent exercise, and we'll have all this stuff done by the time we have a new meeting.
Okay, so does somebody want to make a motion in relation to what we said, or everybody have any comments? Shauna?
I have some questions. I like to ask Mr. Nardini a couple of questions about this report. So first question is, how did you pick these 4 comps? I mean, you pick properties that are in New Haven. There's nothing in Seymour. There's nothing else in the Ansonia or in the Valley. How many comps did you have to look at? How many were there?
There were several, but none of them that matched the building size and utility. This was a mixed-use building. That's what the proposal is for. So we look for mixed-use properties.
Okay, and how did you come up with a 10% difference for location? What kind of analysis did you do for that?
Where is what page are you on?
You took a 10% location adjustment
Okay, hold on.
for New Haven. So I'm wondering how you came up with 10%.
The traffic count, the amount of walkers in New Haven were much greater. And I reviewed the properties that were in New Haven, what they sold for, and then properties in the Valley, they sell for less because of that. They don't have as much exposure.
And do you have that in your work file? And did you
Yes, it's in the
write that?
file. Yes,
Did
it's in the
you
file.
Did you write any of that? How you came up with that 10%?
It's in the work file what I did, yes. I didn't put it in the report.
So as the reader, I don't understand where 10% comes from.
Point taken. Gotcha.
And then the last one is basically kind of like John asked. All your data shows your cap rates in the 6s and you pick 7. Why did you pick 7?
I'd have to look at that in the file. I don't remember.
It just seems a little incomplete to me. But those are my comments.
Thank you.
Joseph, one more comment I want to make that I just want you to review, okay?
Yep.
Go to page, go to your page 59.
Oh, okay, hold on. Tell me what's on that page, please, because some of my page numbers aren't catching up with my scrolling.
Okay, so this is the mortgage rate at 6% equity at 25% construction of overall capitalization band of investment techniques. That's the title at the top.
Yep.
Okay, so if you go down to the calculation, where it says calculation,
Yes.
okay, and see the equity component,
Calculation, yes.
see it says 0.25, that's 25%.
Yes.
You have a dollar sign in there.
Yes, that's an Excel thing. I've been trying to correct it, Commissioner. I don't know why that's there. What I had to do on another report was just take that out, take the formula out for that cell and just put it in manually. I don't know what happened there.
All right, the other issue, I think, I'm assuming that's 6%.
Say it again, which is 6%?
Is that dollar sign supposed to be 6%? Is that what you're saying?
The dollar sign.
The dollar, the 6 cents, it says 6 cents.
I'm not
I'm
seeing.
assuming that's supposed to be 6%, right? Is that what you? Well, I'm going to suggest this then. Why don't you go back and review that, how you make up that equity rate, where you get that equity rate from. And then I'd also suggest you look at the correlation between your equity rate and your mortgage, your mortgage rate in relation to what we call negative leverage. Look up negative leverage, okay? Before the next meeting. All right.
Equity
I'm
rate.
also going to suggest too, that, this is, Joe, you got to do this work, not Mr. Charlie. You have to do it, okay? I mean, he can guide you, but you got to be doing the work so you understand.
I understand.
Do we know if Jerry's going to be at the next meeting? Anybody? I know it's kind of, nobody's asked him probably. We don't know of any reason he's not going to be at the next meeting. Let's go. with that.
Right, I mean,
Correct.
Linda and Norris, you guys
One
have any
hand.
questions? Linda or Norris?
And I'm good. Ken, I'm good.
Linda?
Yep, I'm okay.
Okay, so I'll make the motion to table him until the November meeting.
I'll second it.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, hey, one more thing, guys, if you can also include one of the reports, review the cost approach, so we have one report with a cost approach in it. I believe you sent one in, correct? Am I getting confused with somebody else?
I thought
one.
we did, Commissioner, send one in. You don't have that one?
I have one that I saw that had an insurable value in it, but that's not a cost approach. So
If the scope of work didn't require it, we wouldn't have done it, I guess. But you want me to find one? Is that what you're saying that I did?
no, if you could just take one of these reports and you can readdress it to us. As the commission.
Okay.
You can readdress it to us, make up the commission, the client.
Okay.
The purpose is for experience credits, but just expand one and include a cost approach. One of them, you had to do an insurable value, which is different from a cost approach.
I understand that. Yeah, I got that.
Okay. So you
Yeah,
might
I
want
mean,
to take that one since you did an insurable value and just include a cost approach with that one. Okay.
well, as you know, I only submitted what you guys asked me for.
Correct. But I
Okay.
believe last month we did ask you to include something with a cost approach.
I thought the apartment building that okay, it doesn't have the cost approach. I got you. I'm sorry. I got it.
No
I'm
problem.
thinking of a different one.
Thank you
Thank you.
very much. Okay, we'll see you next month then. Thank you.
I hope so. Thank you.
Okay, so,
John?
Yeah.
Can we go back 1 minute? I have to make a change on one of the classes that we approved.
sure.
The roster just came up, and I was looking at it. Class number 832. This class had no instructor listed at all, which is very unusual. They usually have a list of instructors who will be teaching the class. But the other thing is, it was so sloppy. Half of it was misspelled words. It was hard to read. I don't think we should have accepted it. So I'd like to send that one back for a redo.
Okay, how do we handle this when we make a vote, Linda and Vicky? Do I make a new vote?
Well, can I just ask that we send AAL 832 back to the owner and have them review it? And
Okay,
then
so we have a motion on the floor to go backwards and put, and
No.
do we have somebody second it? Second it?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
I just have issues that we do something and reverse it, but
Yeah, I do too, but this one didn't come up right away when I was looking through them, and I just saw it a little while ago. So I don't think letting it go through is the correct thing to do.
All right.
do you want
Wait,
them
wait, wait,
to-
wait. Can we, before we do that, wouldn't it be more appropriate if we make a motion that if Linda receives satisfactory explanation of this course, an outline of this course, that since we've already approved it, that it then be approved, that it can be approved? Can we do
That's what
something?
I was gonna suggest, that
Okay, that's fine. Whatever will get it set up correctly.
You want to read
that
it?
we request more information for the course for Linda to review, and if satisfactory, then it will be, then
Yeah,
I
but
can
you-
go ahead and
but
do
we
the
have to put
approval.
something in there about, because I mean, it was like a 3-year-old typed the thing. Nothing is spelled correctly. It's a mess.
When I looked at it, I thought, so somebody want to amend that motion there? Linda, want to rephrase it?
Request that class, the course number AAL 832 is returned for updating of the report so that it's legible, and that the instructor, that the school has found instructors that are capable of teaching the course.
Okay, so we have an amendment to a previous vote for course AAL 832 that Linda received a proper explanation of the court along with proper outline of who the instructors are. And if she receives that, then it's considered approved for 4 hours of continuing education.
Okay.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we're moving on. All right, jump back to old business now. Robert Pellegrino requesting equivalent pre-licensing course approvals.
Okay, is he here?
No.
No, unfortunately, not that I can see. I do not have Mr. Pellegrino on.
Okay, that's fine. He had originally asked for equivalent education for some of his college courses from the University of South Carolina, where he received a real estate degree. I sent him all the information regarding the AQB and telling him he needed to fill in where exactly they went. And he sent everything back to me at 8:30 last night. So obviously I have not even looked at it or had time to forward it to you. So I would say we need to table this to next month.
All right, somebody want to make a motion to table Robert Pellegrino next month?
I'll make the motion to table Robert Pellegrini until next month.
Second it? Who?
I'll second it.
All in favor? All right, so anybody opposed? Okay, Randall Ripley, RCR applicant sample review. Is Mr. Ripley here?
Mr. Ripley and his sponsor are on the line, Mr. Robert Thomas. Mr. Ripley, are you able to speak at this time?
Yes, hello.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Chairperson?
Do they have cameras? Can they state their name and address and stuff for the record too, please?
Sure. Mr. Ripley, are you able to turn on your camera? I just sent you a button just to select to turn the camera on. Are you able to see that? Mr. Ripley? I think he's making the transition. Yes, Mr. Ripley, if you could unmute and turn your camera on, that would be.
Got it.
There we are. Here we are. Hello, Mr. Ripley. I'm turning you back over to Chairperson Galvin at this time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, can you both state your name and address for the record, please?
Randall Ripley, 11 Lower Commons, Woodbury, Connecticut.
Rob Thomas, Thomas and Maisano Appraisers, 275 Maple Avenue, Cheshire, Connecticut.
Thank you.
All right, and is your other sponsor here also? Is Scott here?
He is connected. He should be.
Okay, Scott Beecher.
I have 3 Scots. So I'm gonna
Scott B.
allow 2 in at this time. Mr. Beecher, if you're able to, could you please unmute? I've sent you the unmute button, so and he should be on at this time. Mr. Beecher, are you there? I have you unmuted. Mr. Beecher, can you hear me? He's unmuted and he has permission to speak, but let's see if we can. Mr. Beecher, if you can hear me, if you could just click on the button that I sent you so that you have full access to come in. He may only be able to speak. I don't see video access for him, but I'm still trying to get him in at this time. Mr. Beecher, I see you there. if you're able to, could you please unmute? It would be the button at the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, and it should have a strike going through the mute.
Can you hear you, Terry Jo? Is he
He
responding?
might be able to, he's not responding, or let me see in the chat if he sent me. He hasn't sent me anything in the chat. I can just see on my end of things what's happening. And I'm asking him to unmute, and I have
Okay,
promoted him to get him in. Actually, he is unmuted on one of his platforms. Mr. Beecher, are you there? On both his platforms, actually, now he's unmuted, and he
Can you
should be
hear me
saying
now?
something. Yes, I can. Thank you very much. Sorry about that, Commission.
Okay,
hi, Scott, can you state your name and address for the record? I don't know your last name because I just see Scott.
Scott Beecher, 290 Holly Hill Lane, Southbury, Connecticut.
All right. Linda or,
Yeah, so Randall is looking to upgrade from provisional to certified residential. I have, all his logs were fine. You guys approved those. You guys picked the samples for him to send in. I forwarded them all to you. His college is all set, his courses are all set, so it's just a sample review now.
okay. Shauna, you have any comments?
I didn't see it, so I can't.
You ever looked at him, Shauna? How about Linda? Did Linda vanish? This seems to be a very awkward Zoom meeting.
I think she just stepped away briefly. She probably didn't realize. I'm sorry about that, but I'm sure she'll be right back.
All right, guys, I'm gonna ask you to hold tight then. Give Shauna a few minutes to look at a few things, and then we'll wait for Linda to come back. And if we can jump down to the Connecticut Law course, we have any update on that?
Just want to make sure we're dealing with Scott, right? Not Randall.
Randall is the applicant. Scott is one of his sponsors. Scott Beecher and Rob Thomas. So you may have.
I see Rob Thomas sitting in the corner there, so I thought that maybe Rob was his.
Rob is also a sponsor.
Yeah, he has two sponsors that are both here. And some of his samples were done for Rob and some were done for Scott.
Okay, well, I have them. I have to look at them.
All right, why don't you take a minute to look through them? Why don't we jump down to, you guys, I appreciate you be patient with us just a little bit. The Connecticut Appraisal Law course, any, Vicky, you want to say anything about that? Did Vicky vanish too?
Well, I see her here, but she's on mute.
I'm asking her to unmute. So Vicky, if you,
Here she
yes, she's
goes.
on.
Hi. Can you repeat the question? I heard you say Vicky.
The Connecticut Appraisal Law course, where I just jumped down to that next. Any update on that?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can give you an update. Linda and I had met. We went over the suggestions that Jackie had made, and we did incorporate those into the version that will be going out. Linda, that will go out today or tomorrow, the updated one.
Yeah, unless anybody else has any comments, just a couple of things we can, Jackie, thank you for going over it and catching some items. We appreciated it greatly. A couple of things that Jackie had brought to our attention was one of them said in the notes about the 3-hour law module, and obviously it's a 4-hour right now. So we corrected that. We added a slide regarding the CE starting in 2024 about having to be done in January. We put it at the end of what's coming up going forward. The ASC slide still shows our review from 2018. And then we added a note about the off-site assessment because the ASC will not update their website to show the off-site assessment. Those are not public information. So we left it the way it was. So those were the biggest things that and she had some typos and some stuff. So that
And we did put
corrected.
down we did provide a slide on the update relative to what's going on with, in Connecticut. So I think that will be helpful in terms of,
And a couple slides on, use PAP, the 15 course is not changing. So.
and that's pretty
where
much it.
we
And I
are.
apologize. I apologize for not being able to tell you this. There was a problem with my computer, and all my notes are on there, and I'm in the office, so I can't, that's why I'm on the phone. I can't get into my computer. I apologize. So thank you.
Seems normal for today.
It does.
Jackie, do you have anything you want to add or say? Can we unmute Jackie? Jackie, just want to, when you do come on, can you just state your name and address too? Did we lose her? We lost her. Now she's back.
Good morning.
Hi, Jackie.
Good morning.
State your name and address for the records.
Yep, Jackie Beauchesne, 88 Highland Avenue, Torrington, Connecticut. Thank you for the opportunity to review the PowerPoint presentation. I, found a couple of things that you had all discussed on your previous call, and I think it'll be beneficial to the attendees to see those changes and to have a heads up for the 2024 renewal regarding the CE. And while I have the floor, I just want to take the opportunity to thank Linda for, I believe, going above and beyond for reaching out to me regarding an issue with the national office and submitting info for the school. I appreciate the heads up and was able to take a lead on that and get it resolved. So thank you very much, Linda. I greatly appreciate it.
Thanks for your help in getting it resolved. So.
Okay, thank you, guys.
And I'm going to make the request early on. Jackie, I will be contacting you to ask you to be on our team to help us when we're ready to do the next course. So.
Absolutely, Vicky. And I know that,
Okay.
and I know that a couple of the instructors said that they would be more than happy to be part of that, to help make the changes if you folks do decide, that you're going to be able to go back to the 3 hours again. They're more than happy.
We're going to try to go in that direction. Yes, we will be looking for some help and some input. So we'll get the names, or you can send them to Linda, and then that way she can have a record, and then we know who to contact when the time is appropriate.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yep,
Greatly
thank you so much.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
So I'll be sending the course out probably by the end of the week. I'll send a copy to all of you, and I will send it to all the schools so they can start teaching the revisions as of November 1st.
Thank you. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Vicky. All right. Why don't we jump down to Charlie Broder? Are we just looking for an extension here, Linda, or are we looking for?
An extension.
An extension. Charlie was here back in April, and you guys suggested that he come back in October for the 6 month, for an extension for the remaining time to April of 2022. His license expires next month, and so you guys wanted to wait until he got closer to make sure he still needed it.
Okay, and what was the reason last time? Was there a reason why do you know? All right, Charlie, why don't you come on and just state your name and address?
Can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead.
It's Charlie Brody. It's 205 Main Street, New Canaan, Connecticut.
Okay. Charlie, you want to?
Yeah, no, I came on in April looking for my license was set to expire in I believe the end of October. And I was just looking, but then I knew I was dealing with some family situations, and the things are actually, what I was dealing with are coming to a head very shortly, not in a good way, but they're coming to a head. And I was just requesting extension to April just to finish. I have all my CE hours. I have all the appraisal hours. Everything's ready to go. I just need to take the test, and I just haven't had really any time to focus on it. And I'm just looking for an extension till April to just get all my ducks in a row and finish my exam.
Okay, April.
Yes, sir. It might. I think my license says it does expire in April, but I think my actual certificate says April, but I know I think it expires in October, end of October, right, Linda?
Correct.
Okay. So I'm basically just looking for the extension to the till the April date.
All right, anybody got any questions from the commission? Somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make the motion to
I'll
extend.
second.
Okay, Norris made a motion. Linda, you second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We gotta do discussion, John.
Any discussion?
I just want to say, I really don't like extending all these because in the past, we've done this and we try to get away from it. And here we are back to doing this again.
Okay. So, any other discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm gonna vote nay.
Nay. Okay, so the ayes have it.
Thank you.
Good luck. We'll see you back here. or
Thank you very much. Have a great day, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, let's go back to Randall. Shauna, you have any questions? Linda, you have any questions?
Yeah, I did look at these. I think they're pretty good. I do have a comment or a question on this. I looked at 9 Althea Street and 7 Rosengarten. Right. One from Southington. Which one's from Southington? Oh, I'm sorry.
I believe that was
86
Waterbury.
86 Cole Drive. So my question is on you didn't bracket the land size on either one of these, and why did you not bracket the lot size?
Looking. Shona, do you want him to answer that or you want me to answer that?
You're looking for a license there, Rob. You have four comps, which is great, but none of them bracket the lot size.
I think it could not. Let's see, which one are you looking at? Rosengarten.
Southington one, 86 Cole Drive. The Waterbury one is pretty small land, but I don't know. I didn't see a comment for why you couldn't on either one.
Rosengarten is bracketed. Comp 2 is less and the others are all more. The site size?
Yeah.
Yeah, what was the address again, Shauna?
Shauna, you're muted again.
Stop.
Shauna, you're muted.
Unmuted.
86 KUHR Drive.
'86 square, okay. So. Yeah. New construction. You can't bracket everything. Yeah, I think I just got as close as I could. I wasn't able to bracket. I didn't make a comment about that. Yeah, I did make a comment.
Where's that? You gotta remember, I just looked at these now, so I had to look at them quick. Where's your comment?
Yeah, thank you. So for 86 Coeur, I just commented it was not possible to exactly bracket the site size with the most comparable sales. Sales of similar site size were chosen.
I would put another sale in there, just even if it's not, just to show that the land isn't, get something that may not be a good comp, but at least it would just bracket the lot size. It's always important to bracket both sides. And you just throw an extra comp in and you just say, I'm only using this comp to bracket the land size. I've done that many times. And then the other question I have on this one, same one, is you didn't make an adjustment for bedrooms from 3 to 4. I certainly, once you get over 4, there's never much of an adjustment being made, but I do see that houses definitely have, there's definitely a market value between 3 and 4 bedrooms and you didn't adjust. So why is that?
That's because it's included in the GLA adjustments, which I may or may not have commented specifically towards,
Double dip.
but to not double dip.
Well, then how much of what was your square footage that you use? If you're saying it's in there, and how are you treating comps 2 and 3 different, then are you using a different square footage adjustment? If you're saying it's in there, then
No,
1 and 2.
no
You
difference.
look at comp 1 and 2, are you using the same square footage price? If you're saying it's in the square footage price.
Yes,
What is it?
same square footage price.
Yeah, so then you're not really reflecting the bedroom.
Well, it's in there.
It's just included in the GLA adjustment.
If it's in comp 2 and 3 and in comp 1, the same price, if you're saying just because it's bigger, a bedroom is going to definitely add value. I would definitely suggest that in the future you make a comment about that, or that you adjust for bedrooms from anything 4 or lower, especially when you talk about these size houses. I mean, I think the report overall is good, and I'm going to vote in favor, but these are just a couple of things that I noticed quickly while I was looking at these. Maybe Linda has some more.
I appreciate that.
Thanks, Shauna. Linda, you got any comments?
No, I went through the reports and I didn't find anything that was crazy. We've seen, as far as the 3rd and 4th bedroom, it almost is down to a market analysis of where that house is located. So, sometimes we find that the 4th bedroom adds value and sometimes it doesn't really matter, depending on what's typical in that market. So, but I didn't find any problem with the reports that were turned in. They were okay.
Thank you.
I just happen to do a lot of work in Southington, so I kind of know that market better.
Norris, you got anything?
I'm good.
All right. All right.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Somebody second it?
I'll second
I'll
it.
second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Hey,
That's my sponsor.
Sponsor.
All right.
Was that under that comment? Oops, nope, sorry.
let me
Just
just,
kidding.
let me
I'm
just,
okay.
it's great seeing you, and it's great actually having a face-to-face with Linda Robitaille, who I've texted and spoken to for many, many, many years.
Yep.
Linda Sepso, you gave me some great advice at the last law course. I don't know if you remember it at dinner, but I did take it and it helped me out tremendously. So kudos to all of you, and wonderful seeing you during quarantine for a year.
Yes.
Nice putting a face to face with, even in this manner. So
The best part is we don't have to drive anywhere.
I know, Linda. And at this point, I really would like to take the opportunity to nominate my cousin Denny Maizano for the commission, now that he is officially retired from life, just hanging around the office. So I would suggest that somebody reach out to him and tell him if he's bored to get back on the board. So
And he knows what to do, so
yeah,
he knows what to do. All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Congratulations.
guys.
All right,
Thank you.
Randall, we'll let PSI know that you've been approved to take the exam. And I would say you could probably contact them whenever you're ready to take the exam. But I would wait until like Friday or Monday before you reach out to them. And if you have any issues trying to schedule it or any problems, let us know, because PSI has had some issues lately. So just let us know if you have any issues.
Okay, thank you all very much.
All right,
Thank
good
you,
luck.
everyone.
Thank you.
Okay, we got two more things I want to discuss. One is one more old business thing that ties into, I think, comments and concerns, and then we'll listen to everybody. But Vicky, on the, just can you give us an update on those regulation changes we made? Are they all done now? Is there any more?
Oh, that's under legal.
What did we get to legal? We did legal, didn't we? All right, let's go to legal. Legal, okay. Legal, I apologize. Legal updates. who wants to take us? Linda, you want to update us with the legal, or Vicky update with the legal?
Vicky.
Okay, I'm looking legal updates. Okay, so let's see what we have. The packets were submitted. It was posted on the Secretary of State's website for comment. And I don't know what the closing date is, but other than that, that was it. The proposed attachments were, that shows you where we are. I mean, what was changed. What
But
else to say?
I know, John, the ones you're concerned about are the ones that you had submitted, and they did go to reg review and were heard at the end of September. So.
Oh, he's talking about his individual ones on the jurisdictional
Right.
exception. Okay,
So
yeah, okay. I'm sorry.
they're waiting for any other comments, and if there isn't any problems, they should be posted and approved on the Secretary of State's website in the very near future.
Can we find out that date?
Yeah.
For us, and let me know. I appreciate it.
Okay.
All right, so that's B, right? And that's an A and B. So we're all covered then in legal. Is there anything else, Vicky?
No, I don't have any further updates or other information at this time. Only what was provided.
Okay, I see we have still two people, Jackie and Scott Diabazio with us. They're from the public. Do you guys want to say anything else or have any other comments or 2 cents you want to throw in?
Sure. Mr. Chairman, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, Scott, just state your name and address.
Oh, sure. Scott DiBiasio with the Appraisal Institute in Washington, D.C. And I appreciate the opportunity to provide some comments this morning. And actually, it's more of a question than a comment. And it's in relation to PREA, the practical applications of real estate appraisal. And wanted to see where Connecticut stands in terms of acceptance of PREA to satisfy the experience hour requirements for the licensed and certified residential credentials. Of course, the Appraiser Qualifications Board approved PREA back in, to be effective on January 1st of this year. It's intended to be sort of an alternative way other than the traditional supervisor trainee model for an aspiring appraiser to gain the required experience. And, as a potential PREA provider, the Appraisal Institute, we're trying to get a sense from states as to where they stand in terms of acceptance. Of course, there aren't any PREA programs that are available in the marketplace as of yet, but I do foresee that some will be available here probably within the next 6 months or so. In the Appraisal Institute, we're in the final stages of making a decision as to whether or not to move forward with the development of a program of our own. And of course, it's a multi-million-dollar investment, potential investment for us. And we would like to have some level of certainty as to what aspiring appraisers are going to be able to utilize PREA, what portion of the experience requirements, all partial or none, of the experience hour requirements, they'll be able to use an AQB approved PREA program to satisfy. So again, it's more of a question, and I don't know if it's appropriate for y'all to have discussion about that right now, but just wanted to put that out there. And just in terms of the eval regulations, I had actually seen a notice a couple of weeks back that those regulations were now in effect. And I actually looked on our LexisNexis system here this morning, and they've actually been incorporated into the administrative code already. So I'm not sure if that's exactly what you were talking about earlier, but it seems like those regulations have been finalized and put into effect. So that's a positive change, and we certainly appreciate that. But mostly just looking for some feedback from the commission as it relates to PREA. So appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott.
We should talk about that PREA thing before we leave today.
Okay, Vicky, can we just go to what Mr. DiBiasio has just said about the regulations? Are they official or are they?
I think the official date was October 1st, or it was upon signing. I don't know because I don't have my, like I said, I'm on the phone. I don't have my stuff with me because my computer's not working. So I don't know. I can find out. I just don't know right now.
So they were either close or we're there.
Correct.
It's-
I
right,
know
correct,
there were
right.
some things posted. But we've submitted several different updates and regs, so we'll have to
Right,
figure out
don't-
which ones
right.
exactly have been posted and which ones are still moving.
Okay. All right. Any, I know on the Perea thing that we had,
Hey, Vicky.
Yeah.
Hey, Vic, can't John
Yeah.
just go to, the Reg Review Committee and see it on your website?
Yeah, or you can go to the Secretary of State and see what's posted. Yes.
Yeah. Either way, John, you can do that on your own if you want.
I know, I trust Vicky though.
That's smart. Yeah, you're right.
All right, so I know we discussed it. Linda, you want to have any comments? And Shauna?
Yeah, I talked to some people at the Appraisal Foundation to get a better handle on this because they're talking about replacing the supervisor with what's known as a mentor. So it's not somebody who's going to go with them to inspect properties or walk them through this thing. It's a different kind of setup. I believe they're required to take all the courses first, where now they can take the courses as they're gaining their experience. So that might change, but also it's not going to be a standard as far as the classes go. What I originally thought that maybe the Appraisal Foundation would give guidelines for each course. They're not doing that. It's up to the schools to have a course written and get it approved. So I just don't see how it's really going to work. I mean, maybe it really will, but the question I asked them the first time was, what's going to happen when they finish their courses and now they just have a mentor? Who's going to find them work that they can do? And who's going to have somebody who's never done an inspection before walk in the door? So there's a lot of stuff going on. However, what we were told when I talked to them is that they have people all set to talk to us. So we can have at one of our meetings, we can have someone come in on Zoom and explain the whole program and what it would mean, how it would change the things that we're doing now or not. And then we could, move forward and decide whether we want to accept this or not. It's very different from what's existing now.
They being
the Appraisal Foundation.
Shauna?
I know what they're trying to do is to get more people in, and right now it's only set up for residential appraisers. There's nothing for general.
Shauna?
Comment.
Norris? I know Norris is there.
Right here.
Any comment, Norris?
No, I'm good.
All right. Scott, did you want to say something else?
Sure, I just wanted to clarify a little bit. The AQB does have some pretty detailed specifications in place for what Perea programs, the content and the delivery of those programs. And it's intended to be sort of a virtual and technology-based way of gaining experience. So the aspiring appraiser, and they don't actually have to be a trainee in order to go through a Perea program. So the aspiring appraiser there would be appraising virtual properties in a technology-based environment and wouldn't actually be out on the street doing inspections and writing reports. So it is a paradigm change, and it's intended only to be an alternative to the supervisor trainee model. It's not replacing that. So the supervisor trainee model would still exist, but this is a way to speed the process, I think, of getting appraisers into the profession. And it's also a very important part of both the foundations and the providers, potentially part of their efforts to diversify the appraisal profession and make it look more like more demographically like America. We have found, and research has indicated, that trainees of color and other minority appraisers have a disproportionately more difficult time finding supervisors than do white appraisers, so white trainees. So this is a way to open up potentially the appraisal profession to more diverse communities. And there's a bill pending in Congress right now that would actually provide some money to historically Black colleges and universities, and Hispanic colleges and universities, and also Indian educational institutions, Native American educational institutions, to help folks that are attending those universities to be able to go through and complete a PREA program. So just wanted to add those additional comments. And, we're not looking for any sort of an official decision one way or the other from the commission today, or even within the next couple of months, but did want the commission to start thinking about this, because it is something that is coming down the pike, and providers are going to start submitting their programs to the AQB for approval here very soon. And I think that, potential aspiring appraisers in Connecticut would appreciate having some certainty of knowing if they do go through a PREA program, exactly what portion of the experience hour requirements they're going to get credit for. So again, I appreciate the opportunity to offer some comments, and we'll look forward to the discussion with the commission, and can help in any way that the commission desires. So I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, Scott. So I think
like that. That update must be on the education side, because my last conversation with them is that the schools needed to supply the education. Each school would have to have the courses written to do it. So they didn't mention that there was any guidelines that they were giving us other than the standards that we use when we're writing stuff now. So that was a concern.
And I know that providers have been submitting concept documents already to the AQB for approval, and the AI has submitted our concept document, and it's been approved for us to move forward if we ultimately make that decision. So there are programs in development, and they're going to hit the street here probably in the next, 6 months or so.
Is this geared to making the time to become a certified appraiser shorter? I mean, it takes 5 to 6 years for most of the people that we get here.
But potentially, yes. And I think it was you, Linda, that made the comment that all of the education would need to be completed before a person could begin a PREA program. That's absolutely correct. But it is intended to shorten the time frame for an appraiser to go from, beginning to end. And quite frankly, the numbers right now in the field are continuing to decline. And unless we get people into the profession here very soon, rapidly, clients and other users of appraisal services may not have any choice but to come up with alternatives to appraisals if they can't find appraisers. So that's one of the things, is just trying to get sheer volume of people, competent and qualified folks, of course, into the profession, but doing so in a little bit more of a little quicker manner, in something other than the supervisor trainee model, which has for many, many years been an impediment and a barrier to entry into the profession. And this is trying to knock down one of those barriers and make it somewhat easier for someone into the profession, if that's the route they choose.
I have another question on that, because one of the schools told me that the schools would be providing the mentors. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay.
So I think, well, if I recall, Linda will tell you that we discussed this before, and we were kind of just going to wait it out and see how this unfolds. So it's not like we had anything against it or all for it.
We started some preliminary discussions on it. Linda's gone and found out some more information. So, we can go ahead and put it back on the agenda to discuss in either November or December, if you guys want to, with some more detail.
Well, I think before we start any discussion, we should take advantage of the Appraisal Foundation's offer to have someone come virtually to one of our meetings and discuss the whole program. so that we have a good handle on what it's actually going to be.
Right, because, we have to, once we decide, yes, we're gonna do it and how many, maybe we'll do 20%, 100%, whatever you guys decide, as far as accepting the program, then it's got to go through the whole statute and reg process. So, it's not something that we can say yes to and then be approved that day. So,
Right. So I think that if I can call them and see if we can get somebody who can come to our December meeting.
December
virtually.
sounds good.
And,
yeah, that sounds good.
have them, because they have people who are set up to do this. So, and that would be really good, because it's with the information that I've gotten, which certainly isn't a ton of information. I see gaps that I don't know if they're being filled, but now you already answered one, Scott, that helped out a little bit. So I think we should just delve into this a little bit more and be fully knowledgeable about what's happening before we decide what we want to do with it.
All right, so Linda, can we just put it on the agenda for next month to discuss it, and then Linda
Yeah, I'll call and make the appointment.
find out, so.
See, they can come
Thank
to
you
the
very much.
December meeting.
Thank you,
Anything
Mr.
else?
Chairman.
No,
I appreciate the opportunity and look forward to the commission discussing it further. So appreciate it.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Anything else we need to discuss? We're all set. Somebody want to make a motion to move on with life?
Oh, definitely. I'll make
the
that motion.
I'm gonna give it to
Second.
Norris. Norris made a motion to end the meeting, and he was second it.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, we're out. All right. Thank you, everybody.